your life.
Benzino is going berserk. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I don't know what's happening.
Let's on it.
Like, what do we gotta do? Do we need to do a...
Hey guys, and... Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Pepper. You know what time it is. We're giving you guys a review of Love Goals episode 4 part 2. We're going to talk to you guys about Althea and Benzino. Hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for the notifications. And for those of you who are returnees, you ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. No, 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 no. Hey. Are you Maddie Lean? Again, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Alright, cool. So, we're introduced straight away in a banger. So we get, first of all, we get Benzino running up and down in the villa, all stressed or angry or in a mess, cussing, saying all sorts of stuff. There's a beef between himself and Sunday. Look, what's really interesting about Sunday and Benzino is the fact that, obviously, originally the history is that, you know, apparently he lied on having sex with her. And obviously, you know, I'm not gonna lie, Sunday has been involved in everybody's business. I said this on the last few episodes back, when she kept on trying to give everybody advice. She didn't need to. And on this occasion here, and after that, Benzino also jumped in to wade in on Bravon, defending him against Sunday. So to see him now shooting off the hip against Sunday here, it is not out of the blue. Yeah, these two go back and forth. They don't like each other, but they love each other. When I say that, I mean they don't like each other, but they like each other. I think he finds her sexually attractive, and it's causing him a problem. She probably finds him a little bit attractive too. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, there's obviously some situation between the two, and the situation was birthed out of the fact that Althea, being the wind-up artist she is, slipped information to someone or to the girls intentionally, saying, "Look, I want a guy to bring a guy over." Right? We don't hear the audio, we just know that's what's been said, okay? Now, Althea denies that she told Sunday. She said Sunday overheard a conversation. Sunday says that's what she heard Althea say, okay? Her word against hers. Whichever way it is, somehow the information got out to Benzino. Now, I'm very sure Althea is a very smart woman. She knows exactly what she was doing when she said those bars. She knew what would get to him. She knew what would get to Benzino. And Benzino, once again, falls for the trap. Look, I will say this again. Althea and Benzino really do like each other. Oh, they really do, yeah? But what they have is a very poor idea of what a healthy relationship is. They're unable to have that image, what I said from the first show. The image of their healthy relationship is askew. It's all wrong. It's a bit biggy-baggy. It's a bit all over the place, yeah? And the reason being is because of the fact that what they've experienced in the past, yeah? I've seen Althea types. That's why I said I know the Althea type. Because what she sees is, if you get emotional, if you get angry, if you get hurt, then that means you care.
It's like he's hearing it that I told Sunday this, which I didn't. She overheard me talking to somebody. And I honestly never was going to have someone come here.
Because that's what I've seen in the past. Do you understand? Benzino too, when he's raging and angry, some guys like I like the hot chick, I like the fiery chick, I like the argumentative chick. Something about it makes me feel alive. Yeah? It's from a broken image of what healthy relationship is. You keep looking at those movies when they have hot sex after they've been broken up and get together again. That's not life. That's not really life. That's a broken image of a healthy relationship. And Benzino knew that Althea was winding him up, but he fell for it once again. Why? Because he's so heavily invested, and he struggles in his warfare. Because it is warfare, you know. It wasn't longer in the car. He was telling her all sorts of things, basically telling her to go die. You know what I mean? So these two, they care about each other, but their words are their weapons. That's what they use to annihilate. Yeah, that's what they've been taught. That's what they understand. That's what they know how to do best. In order to attack and to defend themselves simultaneously, the best way to do it is to use words. I'm telling you, man. He could have gone to Althea and discussed this, but he didn't. He ended up raging and then cussing and having a fight with Sunday, and Bravon had to even get involved. You know, so you see, this is something where communication, if it's not done properly, it affects everything.
Up next is the last couple to take today's challenge is Althea and Benzino.
I'm not doing that.
It was interesting because obviously watching Benzino and Althea do their challenge, I think, you know, obviously Benzino walked away straight away. First thing that he did is he walked away, right? When they were called out. They were the last group. Everyone else had done theirs and he walked away. Now this showed me a petulance in Benzino. Why did you walk away? No, we know that obviously she did what she did. We know she said that she was going to bring another man. But bro, listen, you know she was winding you up. You know she was trying to get at you, fam. Just complete the task. See, you're feeding what she wants rather than giving her what she needs. She thinks she needs you to be always on edge, always ready to fight, because that's what makes her happy. But that's not actually what makes her happy. You understand? It's so interesting, these two. Anyway, so Benzino walks away and he's struggling to be able to come back into the group. And so Spirit has to go over. And I love Spirit's energy. Energy. Say it with me. Energy. When you come over there with the correct energy, my girls, listen.
Man.
You gave me your word.
Not to do that.
You gave me your word. No. I don't want to hear nothing else. You gave me your word. And that authority comes from a place of knowing what you're about. First of all, Spirit's body is a mad thing as well. Hey, listen, Spirit, I'm just trying to know what your Spirit's saying. No, James. Alright, listen, so, obviously, I love black women. They're so beautiful, man. Even Althea, listen, Althea, she's a beautiful girl, you know, Althea. I ain't gonna lie to you. Anyway, it's just that the attitude needs to be just, you know. Anyway, so, you know, when Spirit comes over there, we can see that, you know, Benzino's there doing his head like that. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's trying to keep his distance because he knows if Spirit gets into the zone and gets into his space, he's gonna give in. Because he gave his promise. Not only that, the way that Spirit deals with the situation, you know, he knows that, listen, in order for this to work, he's going to have to follow those instructions. And so eventually she managed to get around to him. And what I love is that Dwayne also went over there as well. You know, to really, again, this is a group effort. Went over there, comforted Benzino, and just kind of like, listen, bro, listen, come on, man. Come on. You can do this, man. You can do this. You know, and what I've noticed about Dwayne especially, he's an encourager in the group. And when people were doing their tasks, even when Brevon and Sunday were doing theirs, you know, you can see that, listen, if you listen, you hear him shouting, saying, come on guys, you can do it. Him and Teresa, very encouraging. And we'll talk about them in a second too, during their particular situation as well. There were some interesting things that happened there. And then Althea, while simultaneously Benzino has been talked to Spirit, Althea is also standing in front of everybody, getting ready to climb this wall, and there's a hint of embarrassment there, that she's been left here to do this by herself. And I'm not trying to make it that she's an angel. No, what I'm saying is that it was a bit embarrassing. Like, the person who's meant to come here with is now showing you up. And so what she does a little thing where, you know, like when people are alone, yeah, it's sort of like let's just be real. Sometimes you're alone in a situation, like in a group setting, and you go to your phone. There ain't nothing on your phone. You want your phone because you don't want it to look awkward that you're alone. So what she does is the equivalent. She twists up her hair, neck, and everything. What? You're not stretching, babe. She was doing all of this, and then she kind of did this, and then she smiled as she went to try and show everybody that I'm good. You're not good. You're not good. I know you're not good. You felt it. It's annoying to see that, right? Yeah, you wish that wouldn't happen in front of people because that's embarrassing. You get me? Maybe if they weren't there, she might have been cussing, but there were people there. And so that was interesting as well. It was interesting because obviously whilst Benzino was talking to Spirit, he said, look, you know, he's a man.
I'm a man, yo.
Exactly.
Right.
So be a man right now. Be a man.
And you know, but what he forgets is, look, as a man, the duty has to go beyond the emotion. Listen to what I just said. As a man, the duty must go above the emotion. It means whenever there's something that had to be done, regardless of how you feel about the person, it must be done. Because duty must go above emotion. Do you see it? That's the role of a man as leadership. If you're going to call yourself a man and say, I'm a man, and I'm about leadership, then this is a part of it. A part of it is what? Duty over emotion. Why do I say that? Many men have children. They hate the baby mother and stop being a father. Duty over emotion. I never liked that chick anyway. I just slept with her once. You don't look after the kid. Duty over emotion. If you don't put duty over emotion, you will do the wrong thing. And you'll be without your child, for instance, an example, out your child for 10, 15 years, come back begging and crawling and saying, I want to see you. But you've lost 10, 15 years, 20 years sometimes, 25, sometimes 30. You know what I mean? You've lost all those years because you didn't put duty over emotion. Benzino obviously saying he doesn't want to do it. It's almost like as if he's trying to punish Althea to try and, you know, say, look, because of what you've done, I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. You know, in order for this to progress in this group setting, you're gonna have to play ball and then have to do duty over care. And I thought it was interesting when they did a rope climb. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if onions were in the air. I don't know if, you know, it suddenly had a wind or a breeze, because there was tears coming out of my eyes. Tears were coming out of my eyes, and I say why. At the beginning, when Althea and Benzino started the climb, Benzino said, "Listen, you go."
Go ahead.
All right.
First, there was no love between the two of them. They started climbing, they got halfway through that, and you start to realize Benzino started to struggle physically, right? And he says something before it gets even said. He says, "Listen, I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for everything." Right? Cool. He says that. Then obviously there's a slip from him, and he literally falls almost he almost slips and falls into Althea, right? And when he does that, Althea reaches out her hand. Now, I told you from episode 1 that Althea still loves this guy. Trust me. Some people don't believe it because they see this action from her. And I'm saying to you, listen, no. What she wants is love. What she's wanting from Benzino's love. And he's not giving it to her. He's giving her madness. Because what I said this in the last episode. Everybody thought that, but when Benzino's saying that he's giving her love, he thinks in his brain, when he provides, that's love. He said it to a spirit. That's not love. That's the whole point. To the person who you're talking to, because we talk about love languages, right? Acts of service, doing things for me, yeah? There's gifts, buying things for me, yeah? Or making something for me, yeah? There's quality time, yeah? Conversations or activities, doing things with me, talking to me, yeah? There's also, what's the other one? Words of affirmation, yeah? Saying something positive to me. Letting words, you know, encourage me. And then the fifth one is physical touch. You know, when you touch me, I feel a certain way. These are all love languages, but these are how I receive the information. You doing acts of service or doing gifts, she may not receive love that way. So though you think you're given love, you're not. And many people are in relationships like this. They think they're given love, but you're not given love. That's the whole point, because the person's not receiving it. You understand? You can't give me dollars when in my currency of language it's pounds. What am I going to do with dollars? Except I begin to what? Translate the dollars into pounds. Until I get an understanding of who you are. Then I'm like, okay, that's what he loves. Okay, I didn't get it. I now can get it and I can now translate it. But I'd rather what? It be in what? Pounds. Why? Because I lose in the currency exchange. I lose in the love exchange. If you give me the love that I desire directly, if I need conversation, that's my love language, give it to me direct. But you give me gifts, I get it. I can see that you love me and you give me gifts, but now I'm having to translate that and I'm losing out every time I translate. Do you get what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, comment down below, like and share, cuz. You understand? Alright. So, and I noticed as well, as they were climbing, they were speaking to each other very, very quietly. And I think it just represents their relationship at the moment, which is that everyone else is quite vocal and loud, but they are quite quiet. They want to do things by themselves. And they need help. That's why everyone else had to be shouting, but they needed help. You understand? And what was interesting from that is that when Althea did that first hand grab, you know, he also...
There you go.
You all right? Okay. Stronger.
You know, he started confessing as they were climbing. You know what I mean? That's when the onions went into my eye. That's when the onions went into my eye. He started confessing certain things, and you know, when she helped him, he whispered thank you as they were climbing up, and then he started to help her back. And this is where we got interesting, because you see, it took for a challenge, adversity, to show that these two can work together. And that's where a lot of human beings are. It takes a unified catastrophe in order for human beings sometimes to gather together. And some of you are in this place in a relationship. You need something to make you come together. And so, watching these two, it really gave my heart some joy, man. It gave my heart some joy. I think, you know, he told her he's sorry as well as they were climbing. And then when they got to the top, I think that was emotional for me, because it's like, not only did they conquer the wall, but they conquered their fears, and then they got to the top, and then they hugged. And this hug was a real hug with tears. Why? Because do you see how simple this was? Shout out to Spirit for this. Do you see how simple it was to make these two cry? To make them come together? A wall! A wall! A simple wall. Climbing one wall has made, because the wall represents what they are facing. A monumental task where they're climbing uphill, where there needs to be teamwork. They don't teamwork. And eventually it gets to a point where they realize there is no other choice but to teamwork. And when they teamwork, they achieve a task that was said to them that would be impossible unless they work together. So when they get to the top, they've already confessed as they were climbing. Yeah, on their journey they confessed. When they get to the top, tears erupt. Hugs break out. Love is shown. Do you get it? But Althea was waiting for this. You guys think that Althea is trying... people have messaged me saying, like, and not one person, but many people are, I don't like Althea, she's that, this, a gold digger. And I'm looking at like, who's a gold digger? Get the frick out of him, man. This girl really likes this guy, man. I can see that. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is because all that attitude is a mask. Nobody's like this, really. It's a mask. And so, the very first episode, like I said, they were arguing. And she said, oh, when he was crying, I wanted to go up there and hug him. But, do you see? So I already knew that Althea was really in deep. Yeah? And some of the things that she was saying, she's talking in the present participle. Anyway, so after this, when they come down, it was so interesting. They started hugging everybody else, right? Benzino even hugs Brevon, like, and it looks like Brevon's gonna even cry as well.
Came from a dark place and I fought it. I fought this manhood thing, this thing that keeps me from being the best person that I can be, this monster.
Like, they've obviously patched up and everything as well, so that was fine. When they go to speak to Spirit is where it gets interesting. Because as they go to speak to Spirit now, as they go to speak to Spirit, Benzino begins to apologize to everybody, and he apologizes to Althea, and he says, listen, you know how I care about you, you know I love you, right? And something that watching Althea move, that's when I knew that this is not to be a father. This is somebody you actually genuinely care for, and you don't know how to reach out to him, and he doesn't know how to reach out to you, right? So when he's talking, he's crying. He's got his helmet on. What does Althea do? She unclips the helmet, and then what she does is then she closes the space between the two of them. She no longer stands. She stands next to him, close. Yeah. When he's crying. And then she puts her arm around him, and when everyone else comes around him, she then rests her head on his chest. Look, she's been waiting to do this, but there's no soft landing space. You know how I love that word now. There's no soft landing space for her head to rest. You understand? She's never had it from Benzino. Yeah? All she's known is beef. When she just wants to rest her head. Listen, she's vulnerable. Look, the moment you have a kid, you're vulnerable. And that's why I said, I look at Althea doing all these acts as a way to show the world that I'm strong. But she's not. Break it down, baby. Break her the way down. You start to see the truthness of who she is. She's got flesh and blood just like me and you. So, you know, that's all Althea ever wanted. You know, that's all Althea ever wanted. That's all Benzino ever wanted. They wanted this situation, this moment. And the fact that he even says, I wish we could do this every day.
I wish we could do this every day.
You can.
Jeez.
You can do this every day for the rest of your lives if you push.
And she said, you can. In fact, you are doing it every day. You don't even realize. And that's it. That's the part of Althea and Benzino. I want to just kind of touch on everybody else's group as well, because I think it was quite interesting. Brevon and Sunday was quite interesting. I love that as well, because they both climbed to the top. Sunday's obviously shaking, scared, everything like that. Again, represents their relationship.
Come on.
Keep looking at each other.
Just trust.
And Brevon takes the first step, yeah, and which I appreciate as well. And they get in there, and what I loved about Brevon is that he's just consistently talking to her, saying, listen, babe, it's gonna be alright, I love you, I care for you, He's saying all these things, and what people don't realize, yeah, I'm gonna say this about this one, also about Q and Spinelli as well, is that when he was speaking, yeah, it's not necessarily the words that he's saying. It's just the fact that he's talking.
Yeah.
You know, you stand on the surfboard where you get your legs out. If you look at my feet,
Surfboard.
can you get your 1 foot out a little bit so you stand up?
The Bible says faith cometh by hearing the word of God. When he was talking, encouraging her, it was causing a stir of confidence. Yeah? The words that he was speaking were causing confidence in her to grow, to come forward. And eventually when they got to the middle, when he was already there, yeah, he reached out his hand to grab hers. Again, taking that forward step again, right? To show her that, listen, you're safe with me. A lot of guys don't realize this. It is your job to make her feel safe emotionally. When she feels safe, she's vulnerable then to you. When she feels safe, she'll submit to you. A lot of guys don't understand this. When you take the first, it's biblical principle, you know. This is why I don't like church sometimes, where we preach things, yeah. If we preached it properly, we'd have many women who want to submit, yeah. The reason why women don't like submitting is because it's abusive. The way we teach it and the way we preach it. We teach it that women should submit first. No, the Bible says God loved us first. And if God is like, and the Bible says that Jesus Christ, he's like the groom and we're like the bride, right? So if Christ loved us first, what are you supposed to do, men? You're supposed to love her first, and then you'll see the submittance. When you don't show her love, she then feels scared to submit to you, because at that point she's given everything to you and she can be abused. Deep it. So when Bravon then reaches out his hand, she takes the hand, she feels safe. And then she hugs him and they kiss in the middle. When they have to switch over and he just keeps talking to her, she trusts that when they switch over, she's going to be okay. Reason being is because he keeps talking and he took the first steps. Do you understand what I'm saying? A lot of us guys do not understand it is our responsibility to make these women feel safe. Not only the woman that you're with, but your daughter. And then to train your child, your son, to make sure that he knows how to keep women safe. Without it, you're only creating a catastrophic cycle that will go around and around and around and around again, repeating itself. When you breed up bad men, they then inflict pain on women. Women then obviously breed up men, breed up children. They have the resentment. They feed that into the kids. Then they continue the cycle onwards. Do you get it? Cool. Dwayne and Teresa was very interesting. When they picked Dwayne and Teresa, Dwayne was on one. Listen, my guy was doing stretches. I'm ready to do my thing. He was competitive, isn't it, right? And Teresa too, she's competitive as well. Don't get it twisted. And so when they called him over to Spirit, and you know, Dwayne was still doing all his little stretches and stuff, watch his body language change.
Good stuff. As he gets those stretches in. That's right. Come on, Dwayne and Teresa, step. And more importantly, I want you to follow.
When she says, Dwayne, you're going to have to put a blindfold on and you're going to have to listen to Teresa. She's going to have to give you directions. Without it, you're going to fail. Right? Watch his position. It changes into... Suddenly, he's not so excited no more. Yeah? Suddenly, the position has gone defensive. Why? Because not only will he have to blindfold, he's no longer in control. When you don't feel like you're in control defensively, you feel some type of way. And it showed itself through him crossing his arms. What was interesting though is the fact that when they did climb up there, both of them climbed really, really quick as well, is the fact that when he said, listen, I trust my woman. And you know, sometimes we say things and we don't realize the connotations, nor the implications of what we're saying. You trust her, but you don't listen to her enough to hear that she wants something this particular way. And the reason why oftentimes we don't listen is fear also. Fear will make you feel like if I give her too much room, she'll move mad. If I give her too much space, she'll take over. If I give her too much space, she'll try and take advantage of me. So I've got to keep her in the corner. Just like white people do to black people. If we allow them to have power, these guys will rob us and they will do this and they'll do that. No, that's not how it's going to be. You understand? Now there are some women and there are some black people that will take advantage of the power they're given. But not the majority. Because the majority of us want to do the right thing. And obviously when they came down, I love the fact that obviously when they came down, you know, the way they hugged at the end as well. Again, just keeping her safe, just keeping it that you see these two are growing and loving on each other. And you know, they have a good relationship. They just need to sort out some things, one or two things. Moving on to Spinny and Q, which I think is quite interesting, is because Spinny was giving Q was giving her great vocals, man. I don't know what he was saying, but he was just giving her vocals. And that was so important because that was helping her as she was climbing. And I said again, look, when someone's doing echo chamber around you, when they're speaking life into your situation all the time, what happens is you become strengthened. Look, the Bible says that words can be poison. If words can be poison, then the opposite can be said. Words can be antidotes. You understand? There's life and death in the tongue. So understand that your words can create an atmosphere that increases productivity. That's why, I even, myself even, being around a woman that, really respects my craft, loves what I do, doesn't have to say everything, but just the fact that I know that and they've expressed it before, I feel like I want to be more productive. More, you know what I'm saying? Like I had a lovely lady with me, appreciate her, and she was like, she's saying to me, like, I was like, I got to do my work, bang it out. She's like, oh, I really like when you was like, the way you was doing your work, like you were dedicated to the thing. It made me feel gassed. I was like, oh, I love the fact that she said that still. Yeah, I'm dedicated to the thing. Meanwhile, I'm like, fam, after that, I ain't doing nothing. But it's the fact that it just, do you know what I mean? That support. Those words are important. You understand? Everybody needs words of affirmation, but not everyone's love language is words of affirmation. Do you understand the point there? So what Q was doing was so important. And even when it made me tear up a little bit when she got to the top and she jumped for the ring. That was impressive because it was like, this woman took a leap of faith, but not just that. He said a strategy, and the Spirit said as well. When he said, I was like, babe, listen, spread your leg, do like surfboard, right? And she's like, okay, cool. Then she did it, and it worked. And this is what I'm saying. It's like sometimes, and the Spirit said it itself, we can all see things in relationships that the other person cannot see. And I always say, a relationship is like a rally car, Sometimes one person is driving, their job is to solely just drive. And the other person is to give instructions. And say, hey, turn left, right, turn left. And it's important to, because if you don't, the car crashes. Both of you are needed. So, guys, on that particular note, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay locked, stay loaded. And make sure you like, share, subscribe. Okay? Hey, little black book, you know what time it is. Yeah, yes. So.